That was before, and this is after.
Hi, I'm Bobbie and this is my story. My senior year of high school was the year that I truly learned what it meant to build my life on God as my rock. I remember spending the majority of my last year of high school struggling and overwhelmed by academics, activities, and relationships. With college applications and testing, I was frustrated with my ability to do well in SATs and found myself looking at mail after mail of rejections from colleges. Additionally, I found myself struggling with 2 of my AP courses where I could find myself failing some tests and quizzes occasionally. Meanwhile, I also had to balance my time with my cross-country and track practices. As I became more competitive, I felt greater pressure to cut down my running times. When I didn't do well in a race, I felt frustrated with myself for not performing up to par. Paired with my academic struggles and losses at track meets, I began to see myself as inadequate, a nagging thought that would continue throughout the year. On top of these 2 issues, I felt 2 of my closest friends drifting away from me. One of my first closest friends began to spend less time with me so that she could spend more time with another person. Halfway through senior year, yet another of my good friends decided to cut me off from her life after a miscommunication for which she blamed me for. While she continued to be friends with others in our group, she and I became more and more like strangers to each other. As all these problems began to pile up, I began to feel that everything I was doing was not good enough. I slumped into a depression which I dealt with in a healthy way. I saw myself as useless in the world's eyes. With no one to turn to, I cried out to God in pain. I continued to bring all my hurt and anger to Him, but the more I did, the more I found myself relying on Him more and more. I began to realize that I had put my energy in defining myself through scores, numbers, and relationships. When these things failed and I had hit a low point, I found that He was there for me, as the rock on which I could find refuge and unfailing love. His death on the cross is one of the greatest evidence of His love for me, and it is His overcoming of death that makes me know that He is who I need to put my faith in, not in earthly things and people. As Psalms 103:14 states, "For He knows how we are formed, He remembers that we are dust." Despite my failures and shortcomings, He cares to know me intimately and sees me as precious in His eyes. I still find myself sometimes turning to the wrong outlets to find my worth. However, when I start to doubt my value, I know to turn to God. Before I knew God, I saw myself as worthless, but now I know that I am and always will be treasured by Him.